Welcome back to the Spread Pick'em Show, week number 4 here with Andrew. And we were not here last week. That's my fault. So it's good to see you back. We had some people asking for us. I guess you have some fans, Andrew. I guess some people do actually like
I
you.
got
Some
big
people were
fans.
asking.
I'm a
Definitely
very
some big
likable
fans.
guy.
I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, sure. Okay. Anyway, let's go over last week real quick. I know you have a rant about the Giants that I'm kind of interested in hearing, so I do want to hear that. But anyway, I think we had the same record last week. I got Carolina on Thursday. You took Houston. We both took the Giants, L. Both took Baltimore, L. Both took the Saints. That was a win. I took the Steelers and lost. You got the Bengals. Both took the Titans. That was a win. Both took Washington. That was a loss. Big loss. I took the Chargers. That was a win. You took the Chiefs in that game. We both took the Arizona Cardinals for a win. I took the Bears. They lost like 26-6. You took the Browns. That was smart. I took the Broncos. And as usual, you took the Jets. So thank you for that. We both
Yeah.
took the Raiders. They should have covered that game, honestly. But of course, they just, kind of did some Raiders things. Both took Seattle. They lost that game outright. We both took the Rams. They won the game. We got that. And we both took the Packers. Both took the Cowboys as well. So we both finished on a 3-0 heater to close off week number 3. So let me ask you about the Giants rant. I want to hear. I'm sure some people watching this are Giants fans. So from an Eagles fan perspective, what's going on here?
Well, I mean, it's incredible how people on Twitter still have
Oh boy.
optimism after losing to the Falcons. I mean, it's incredible. And I know Twitter's a world with a lot of biased people and a lot of frankly stupid people. And look, someone came up to me in school today, and I don't know if they watch this. They probably don't. They're big Giants fans, so they probably know you. But I don't know if they watch this specifically. I'm not going to name any names. I don't want to embarrass the guy, but he came up to me and said that the Giants were still winning the division. Now, he's always been one to have bad takes. I really didn't expect anything different, but his reasoning was what shocked me. His
Okay.
reasoning was Jason Garrett is going to be the difference. His play calling going forward is going to be the difference. And that shocked me because I've never seen Jason Garrett call a creative game whatsoever. And at this point, that's what it seems like the Giants need. They need some creativity on offense. They need to be unique. They're not really going to get to that point. Now, it wouldn't be a rant if I singled out one person because obviously I don't think that's a common belief among Giants fans.
I hope not.
But going into the season, people thought the Giants were going to win the division. I had two teams over the Giants winning the division. I thought Washington had a better chance. I thought Dallas had a better chance. Frankly, I think I nailed Dallas on the head. The Giants just haven't proven anything to me ever. Like since 2017, since my Eagles Super Bowl year, they have been really, really bad. And it's kind of a tendency after they have a really, really good season to be really bad the next year. That's kind of how it's been in the 21st century. But I mean, it's extended. And everybody makes fun of the Jets, like the Jets are not a laughing stock of the league, but the Giants have the same record as the Jets since 2017. I mean,
Yeah.
it's poor. And, I thought this may be the year, but just the failure to address the offensive line, and I understand you guys got like people like Galladay, but he doesn't separate, right? So if you're not going to give your quarterback time to throw, you really can't get them open that much. They don't use their first pick Kadarius Toney that often, even though he's been looking great in the games he's been in so far. I just frankly don't understand how the Giants cannot figure it out for this long, this period of time. I don't know if Daniel Jones is the answer. Frankly, I think it's unfair to go off of what he's done so far because he's had bad play callers like uh, I'm blanking,
Shermer,
Jason Garrett and Shermer,
Shermer,
right?
Garrett. Yeah.
Well, he was actually pretty good under Shermer, who was actually
Yeah.
not a bad offensive play guy. So he was good against Shermer. I don't want to go on for too long. We need to get on for the pick show. It's just crazy the optimism people have about this team. My dad, we went to the game. I was actually at the Giants talking games with my brother. I was rooting for him. That's how bad I felt for you guys in the end. I could just tell everybody was so upset. Everybody was so crushed. But I'm just here to say, frankly, these were my expectations. I didn't think they would lose to the Falcons, but they were not a playoff team in my eyes.
Fair. Yeah, I had them at an 8-win team, and they look more like a 4-win team. So We'll see. I don't know how many games they win this year, but I think as long as Dak's healthy, the playoffs aren't happening, unfortunately. So yeah, that's just the way it is. But yeah, being bad since 2017 is not fun, and I guess every fan is different. You know how I am. I'm as brutally honest as I can be, Andrew. You hear me
Yeah.
all the time. So
Yep.
sometimes it's not good and people don't want to hear it, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, let's get into Thursday night. We have a game that I guess could be good, could be a nice little shootout here. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cincinnati Bengals. We differ here. I'm taking Cincinnati at -7.5, and you're taking Jacksonville +6.5.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville. Give me T-Law. I'm kind of liking Trevor Lawrence lately. I know last week at the end of the game, he was kind of just chucking up passes that were getting intercepted. That's not really that great. And I know Urban Meyer has been kind of shaky since coming to the league. You know, he said every opponent is like Alabama, which he probably should have expected because the worst team in the NFL is probably still better than the best team in college football. That's the way it's been for a long time. We've had some pretty bad teams too, but at the end of the day, he's a fantastic play caller. And I watch college football, I know more than you and maybe more than some others that watch this show. At Ohio State, really wherever he went throughout college, he was a fantastic play caller. And during his first season, it got kind of bad. But towards the fourth or fifth game in every college football season, he seemed to really pick it up. And I did do research on that. That's not just, like I'm just throwing that out there. He does tend to do
What's it
better.
called? Bubblegum stats? Is that
Yeah,
the
bubblegum
phrase?
stats. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I did research this. I know about this. When Urban Meyer starts to feel comfortable with his team, he starts to get a sense of what they're really made of. They start to play better. And he's got a really, really good talented quarterback that we really haven't seen. At times, he's been really, really good. He's been able to adjust to the NFL speed, but he still struggled with that a little bit. Cincinnati, to me, even though they came off that big win against the Steelers, which I did pick them in the spread, but I did not think they were going to win. They don't look totally complete to me, and I'll tell you why. There's a lot of big plays that go on in that offense. They're very big play reliant, especially with Jamar Chase. I don't think that happens against Jacksonville. Their secondary is not great. I understand C.J. Henderson's not on the team anymore, which was probably one of their better cornerbacks. I guess they had something go on there, some turmoil go
That was
on
weird.
in,
Yeah.
in in that locker room. But I just think now is the time when Urban Meyer turns it up. There's a lot of rumors about him possibly going to USC. I think Jacksonville really, really plays well this week. I think their offense is good enough to play really, really well. I think they have talent at pretty much every position except for the offensive line. And I just think maybe this week is finally the week the Jaguars put it together.
Do you think Jacksonville wins or just covers?
Covers.
Okay.
I don't think they're that good to go on the road and beat the Bengals, who are very good. But 7.5 is a lot of points for an offensive, a creative guy like Urban Meyer in that offense.
Yeah. It would be the most Bengals thing ever to lose this game against Jacksonville, who's like one of the worst teams of football. And the Bengals are 2-1. They could be 3-1 here, and I think be near the top of that division, or be maybe at the top, because I think the Ravens lost the game, the Browns lost the game, so they'd be tied for first. So it would be cool to see the Bengals up there after week 4, but. I think I like Cincinnati's offense so far. They are pretty big play reliance. I mean, we've seen Jamar Chase with a garbage time touchdown at one point. I think had a couple touchdowns last week. Even Tyler Boyd had that cool touchdown where he bounced off a guy and got in. But I think just controlling the clock with Joe Mixon, who is still healthy and is getting the ball a ton and he's running pretty effectively. I think they'll be able to keep the ball out of Trevor Lawrence's hands enough. And speaking of Lawrence, I know he's very talented. I still have high hopes for him. I don't think he's a bust because of 3 games. But some of the decisions he's making are awful. I don't know if you saw the backpedaling interception to Byron Murphy for a pick 6. That's just inexcusable type stuff there. So, yeah, I'm still going to take Cincinnati. I'm not feeling confident about it, but I'll take them at home. I think the fans are going to be very excited. And Cincinnati, low-key, has a pass rush this year. So they added Trey Hendrickson from the Saints, and they are getting to the quarterback. And Jacksonville's had a lot of problems with keeping Trevor Lawrence upright. He's taken a lot of hits, so that's another concern of mine. But so I'm glad we differ there on the first game. We'll get into Sunday, and we start with these jabronis, the Giants. They're at the New Orleans Saints. Saints have their first game back in New Orleans, I believe. They didn't play there because of the hurricane, so the fans will be riled up. and they're coming off a win against the Patriots last week. The Saints are -7.5. Now you wanted to change to the Saints. I just said no. Stick with your gut here. You're
Yeah,
taking the
yeah.
Giants, and I'm taking the Saints. I'm not falling for the Giants again.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still watching at this point after my long Giants rant, you're probably surprised that I still picked the Giants. But that was my gut feeling because I do think there is a sense of urgency. And I think when there's a sense of urgency with a guy like Joe Judge, there might actually be some change. Joe Judge is a very strict coach from what we've seen. We haven't seen too much of him, but from what we've seen, he's very fun. The players like to play around him. And he's a pretty fired up coach, not necessarily a Dan Campbell, but he's a pretty fired up coach, and he might strike some urgency into this team. And I think if they don't have the urgency to go out there and play a good football game, not necessarily win the game, then they're really, really crushed. And I mean, they're really, really far out from being a competitive team because they need to have some urgency. They need to prove that they can still play football. I think if they play to Daniel Jones' strengths, which is design quarterback runs, which they didn't do at all last week against the Falcons, which was shocking. I know my brother was pretty upset about that at the game, that they didn't do any design runs after it worked so well against Washington. If they play to his strengths, I think the offense can keep up. I really don't think the New Orleans offense is that great. I think Jameis Winston is still kind of fitting in there, and their weapons on the outside are not really that great at all. Marcus Callaway has not been the guy that everybody said he would be in the preseason. Traquan Smith, I don't know if he's coming back this week. He might be. But still, the weapons outside are not very great. I know the Giants lost a linebacker, Blake Martinez, which was unfortunate. They're going to be very Alvin Kamara reliant. I think the Giants defense shows up this week, and 7.5 points is a lot of points for an offense in the Saints that I haven't really seen too much of since the first game where their defense got a whole bunch of turnovers. So I'm pretty urgent to see how the Giants play in this game. I mean, this is a big test for them. If they can somehow pull off this win, that will change a lot of minds on how the Giants look this year. But they're dead in the water right now, and they need their floaties, and they need to cover the 7.5 spread.
Yeah, the Giants, I mean, I called last week a must win, but they, I guess they have to win this game as well. I have a
Yep.
few problems with this game here. First off, in general, the crowd in New Orleans will be crazy. That's number one. Number two for me is that the Saints have a very, very good defense that I think a lot of people underrate. Their secondary is playing out of their minds. Your boy Malcolm Jenkins had a pick six last week. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's playing well. We've seen Marshall Lattimore been playing well, of course. So that's a problem here, and they are very good against the run, and the Giants can't run the ball anyway. So unless they implement some Daniel Jones keepers, and which I don't know if they will because Jason Garrett is inept, but unless they do that, I don't know what type of offense we're getting here. Like, I don't think the Giants are scoring over 13 points in this game. So if you're telling me the Saints have to get to 20, then I think, or 21, I should say, then I think we're good. Like, I think the Saints have enough of an offense. And if there's one thing I know about watching the Giants, they have a lot of problems tackling these scat back type of guys. And I know Alvin Kamara is more than that, but Alvin Kamara is shifty as hell. He has some of the best balance in the league. The Giants are going to be just going crazy trying to tackle this guy all day. And he had 27 touches against the Patriots last week. They'll use a lot of him. And the way the Giants play defense right now, I don't care who the receivers are. No, Michael Thomas is not there, but still, it doesn't matter to me. They'll find a way. Jameis Winston is definitely making some throws that aren't very safe, and that's the one chance we have in this game. But even then, I don't know. I don't trust the Giants offense to do much here, so hope I'm wrong, but I'm just going to go with the Saints here. I'm not trusting these Giants again here against the spread. Next we have, this is your team now, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs are -7, and look at you. You're taking the Chiefs too, so both of us are taking the Chiefs here.
Yeah, it's back-to-back games. I think that I picked the team going against the Eagles. I don't know if I picked the Eagles in the 49ers game. I think I did. But, yeah, it's back-to-back weeks. And honestly, I'm just trying to be frank. I mean, after that first week, you asked me how I felt about the Eagles, and I said I didn't want to get ahead of myself because I know that the expectations around this team weren't out of nowhere. I mean, their defense is not really that great. I know they look really, really good against Atlanta and even San Francisco, and their offense is bad when Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, and he couldn't throw the ball against the Cowboys. He was throwing behind a lot of receivers, underthrowing a lot of deep balls. It just wasn't really working out. And the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of pressure on them to go out there and get a big, big must-win, like game, blow a team out. It's Andy Reid's first time back in Philly since I think joining Kansas City.
Really?
I think I'm right. Yeah, I think
That
so.
long?
Um,
Jeez.
yeah. It's been a long time. So he will probably want to, beat up on his former team, the team that let him go. I don't know. The Kansas City is a really, really good team, and a lot of people are starting to shut the door on them already, which is absolutely absurd. I mean, they're a very, very good team. I understand that their defense is not very good, but
They
Patrick Mahomes
suck
has
on
that
defense. Oh my
capability.
god.
Patrick Mahomes
They
has that
suck.
capability to overcome stuff like that. And I think they go out in Philly, and I think they get a blowout win. I think Philly does have some urgency as well, but it's not their year. They're going to play under. They're going to play bottom of the division football, and they're going to set themselves up nicely for next year. So I think Kansas City, a Super Bowl contender, really needs to go out there and get a commanding win over a Philly team that's struggling.
The fact that the Chiefs lost last week really kind of goes into my confidence with this pick here. Like if they beat the Chargers last week, I don't know if I would be as confident, but the Chiefs now at 1-2. I think this is the first time they've been below 500 since 2015. I think it was. I saw, which is a very long time. They're not used to this. Oh, Bo Bichette homered. How about that, Andrew? The Yankees
Yeah,
are
I
blowing it.
already saw it.
Oh,
I
jeez.
tried to talk through it.
Um, so anyway, well, now I'm forgetting what I was going to say, but yeah, the Chiefs have looked so bad defensively. Like they're giving up so many rushing yards. Like I feel like teams are getting 7, 8 yards a carry against them. And even Patrick Mahomes is making like just these out of character throws. I mean, we saw one last week where he just threw it up for grabs to a safety. It was just stupid. Like I do think the Eagles can have some type of offense if they run the ball, because you watched that game Monday. There, how many
Yeah.
running back carries did the Eagles have last week? 3?
I think it was two.
2? I thought it was 2 for Sanders, 1 for Gainwell. But
It
anyway,
might have been.
it was 2 or 3 carries. Now, if you guys commit to the run, I feel better about the Eagles. But I don't know. But because you could run on the Chiefs. But I am excited for some Jalen Hurts garbage time in fantasy. I have him on a team. He's been very good for that. So that's the one thing I'm excited for. But yeah, your defense hasn't impressed me that much in Philly. Your secondary's been okay, but kind of got exposed against Dallas, I guess. Your run defense versus Dallas was bad. So if they get Clyde
Yeah.
Edwards-Helaire going, get the play action going, it might be rough. I think the Chiefs score over 30. Maybe you guys backdoor late in the fourth quarter, but I'm taking the Chiefs in this game. Next, we have a game that you called a college spread. This is the Houston Texans at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is a minus 16.5. Now, you took the Texans, and just for the fact that I think everyone's going to take the Texans, I'm taking the Bills. So tell us why you're taking the Texans.
I mean, there's really nothing to go off of because the Texans really didn't look that great with Davis Mills, but they didn't look terrible offensively. I mean, they didn't look really, really bad. He didn't really turn the ball over, which was nice to see. Um, Maybe he gets more comfortable and just goes out there and starts throwing some touchdown passes, keeping the game a little close. But I will
Wait,
almost never.
touchdown passes to the Bills or touchdown passes to the Texans? Who are we
I hope
talking
it's to
about?
the Bills. I got the Bills defense. Um, but yeah, I will almost never pick against, or I will almost never pick a minus 16.5 spread. I don't think I should in an NFL game. I think it's very hard to predict an NFL team beating another NFL team by 17 points. Sure, it happens all the time. A lot of good teams beat up on bad teams, or even sometimes good teams have really, really bad games and they struggle. I understand that, but to predict a team to lose by 16 or 17 points, I mean, that's absurd. I get it. The Texans are bad. They have really bad offense. They have a really bad defense. They're bad all around. And it certainly doesn't help that Tyrod Taylor, the only thing that was going well for them, got hurt again. But that's just the quarterback he's been. But you never know, right? And I think this is a game you could see Buffalo play down to their opponent a little bit. They had a really, really nice win last week. I think they played out on their opponent this week. I think maybe, like you said, for the Philly game, I think maybe the Texans backdoored a little bit. This is a lot of points to cover, and there's a lot of ways that the Texans can somehow cover this 17-point spread, essentially. So I think the Bills don't have to prove anything. I don't think they need to go out there like Kansas City and get a demanding win. I think they can maybe take it easy a little bit, get out to a nice lead, and kind of coast from there. So I'm going to go Houston plus 16.5.
Mm. I would have loved the Tyrod Taylor revenge narrative, but unfortunately he's on the IR, so we won't
Yeah,
see
what else is
that.
new?
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, of course I watched the Texans on Thursday and I don't know how they have any type of offense in this game. Like they scored what 9 points I think against the Panthers or 6, whatever it was. And the Panthers defense is off to a tremendous start. It's probably, their schedule definitely helps, but the Bills defense is just as good if not better and they're in Buffalo this time. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if they put Tre'Davious White on Brandon Cooks and even like bracket him in a way and put a safety over the top, like I don't know how the Texans have any sort of consistency offensively. Like if they score over 14, I'll be very surprised in this game. So you're asking for the Bills to go out there and score 30 plus against a Texans defense that's also not good at all. I think they can do that. I know it's a lot of points here, and it does come down to how motivated Josh Allen and the offense is for the Bills, but I feel like this is what the Bills do to bad teams. They beat up on them, especially at home. So, like, I don't know. I feel good about it unless there's like, a stupid special teams play or something goes terribly wrong or even a pick six or a fumble taken back. I like the chances for the Bills here. I think this game will probably be over by the end of the second quarter, in my opinion. But yeah, I think the Bills will just they'll win by a lot here. I think they'll win by 20 plus. So I'll take Buffalo, but we'll see. Next, we have the Carolina Panthers. They're at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a -4.5, and we're both going with Dallas here.
Yeah, this Dallas team is legit. And as much as it pains me to say that as an Eagles fan, I would like them to play 500 ball again and, underperform like usual. But this Dallas team is legit. And no, I'm not just saying that because they crushed the Eagles. They played really, really well against the Buccaneers, and they played really, really well against the Chargers. And their offense is fantastic. They have everybody that they need on that offense. They have great talent all around. You saw even when Amari Cooper was shut down last week somehow by not somehow Darius Slay's awesome, but just in general he was shut down last week. They were still able to move the ball with ease, absolute ease, and their number one wide receiver was done. Now I understand this Carolina defense has played very, very well, and this Carolina team as a whole has played very, very well with Sam Darnold. But are they ready to go to Dallas and beat a really, really hot offense and a, frankly, pretty good-looking defense so far? I don't think so. The team is experienced that they're going to play in Dallas. They have a lot of chemistry together, really no offensive changes that much within the last 2 to 3 years. I feel comfortable with where Dallas is at. They finally have Dak playing at a high level once again, and it's really awesome to see because he's a great player. It's hard to hate on Dak. He has a really good story, really hard story around him. I think Dallas is a really legit team. I picked them to beat the Chargers. I picked them to beat the Eagles, and I think they're going to beat Carolina by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, this was a kind of a coin toss for me. I do hate the fact that Dallas is on 6 days rest and the Panthers are on 10. I do hate that fact of it. That definitely kind of goes into it. But I think losing McCaffrey, who I think we can admit that the Panthers offense runs through that guy, that's going to be a big loss. And Chuba Hubbard is fine, but he's not Christian McCaffrey. We saw Hubbard drop a pretty easy touchdown pass in the flat on Thursday. He's not who Christian McCaffrey is. And so far, Robbie Anderson, the receiver for the Panthers, has not been involved much at all. He has had one deep pass against the Jets in Week 1. Outside of that, has done nothing. So, yeah, I think you're putting a lot on Sam Darnold's plate here without maybe his best weapon is either him or DJ Moore. And kind of like my point with Brandon Cooks before, you can just put like Trayvon Diggs and maybe some more safety help on DJ Moore. And like, what are they going to do offensively? Like you can try to have them run the ball with Chuba as many times as possible, but we'll see how that goes. Once again, he's not Christian McCaffrey. And for Dallas's offense, I mean, I am interested to see how the Panthers defense, even without J.C. Horn now, looks against a better offense. They've played the Saints offense, the Jets offense, and who was the other garbage team? The Texans offense. They have not played a team like Dallas yet. So I want to see how they do. Dallas is home here, I believe. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like one of those typical games that Dallas will take care of. I could be wrong, but Zeke and Pollard look very good again running the ball. So, I like this Carolina team, but this might not be the right matchup for them. But I do hate that Dallas is on short rest. I will say that. So, next, we're on to the Cleveland Browns. They're at the Minnesota Vikings. Guess what this is, Andrew? It's the Kevin Stefanski revenge game. Once the OC for the Vikings, he actually was he was part of the Vikings organization for like 14 years, so he has a lot of ties there. Anyway, the Browns are a -2. I'm going with Cleveland, and you're going with Minnesota.
Yeah, I think this is the game that kind of smacks Cleveland in the face. I feel like they always have that game where they're supposed to win, they're rolling a little bit, and then they kind of just get hit with a, hardcore slap of reality that, hey, it's not that easy to win in the National Football League. I think this is that game, and I'll tell you why. I think the Vikings offense is great. I don't think they're good. I think they're great. I think Dalvin Cook is obviously the guy that they run through in that offense, but they kind of have like a Titans offense of last year in a sense. If they kind of have that workhorse, that Derrick Henry, which is Dalvin Cook in this situation, and if he doesn't work, they have Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen to go to, which is just an awesome pairing. I mean, you have Adam Thielen going up against number 2 cornerbacks. That's absolutely nasty. I mean, it really is. He's really, really good. He's really, really good against number 1 corners, and to think that he's going to be going up against number 2 corners, it's scary. And this line, when I looked at it, -2 in Cleveland's favor, I thought it was going to be higher. So I thought I was going to get a little more comfort picking Minnesota. But at the end of the day, I think Minnesota is going to win this game. I think it's hard to beat teams on the road. I think Cleveland's hot. I think they're going to get ahead of themselves a little bit. And I think they're going to get hit with a smack in the face and lose this football game. Minnesota's defense obviously has not played up to standards, as everybody hoped, but they do have a defensive coach that schemes really, really well against good teams like this. So I will take Minnesota +2.
Okay, make a compelling case. I'm still going Cleveland, though. They got Odell Beckham back last week. He looked pretty healthy. Yes, Jarvis Landry's still out, but my main thing here comes down to offensive line versus defensive line. The offensive line for the Vikings versus the defensive line of the Browns. Now, in a clean pocket, I saw PFF posted today, I think, that Kirk Cousins is like their best rated passer from a clean pocket, which I believe, because Kirk Cousins has actually played very well this year, I have to admit. But there's not going to be many clean pockets when you face the Browns. They are just kind of one of the teams that can really ruin a game based on a bad offensive line. And like the Vikings offensive line's gotten better. They're still missing their left tackle with Darisaw out, but I think we've seen Myles Garrett wreck games before. Last week, for instance, we saw even Jadeveon Clowney get involved there as well. So they have guys on that defense that can really disrupt this game, and Kirk Cousins is not the most mobile guy out there. So I think based on that, I think they'll be fine. I think you can run on Minnesota. Of course, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are having a very good year. And as I said, Odell is back now. You'll have Austin Hooper open on the weak side on those play-action plays. I think they'll be fine. I think it will be a close game for the most part, but I do like that Cleveland is home. They're playing outdoors. Sometimes a little chilly over there by the lakes, but Minnesota's bougie now playing indoors. But I think I do like Cleveland here, and I do like the fact that Stefanski has that revenge narrative. So I'm going to take the Browns there. Next, we have the Indianapolis Colts. They're at the Miami Dolphins. Miami's a -2. Both of us are taking the Colts, which I found surprising. These are like two of your teams here. Like you have your guy Carson Wentz and your guy Tua with the Dolphins, who I know is not playing. But I feel like these are kind of your teams here. We're both going Indy. I have a weird feeling about Indy. I don't know why, but tell us why you're taking the Colts.
It's also my 2 teams, not just because I love the quarterbacks, but we own both of their first-round picks. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like one has to win, which kind of sucks. But if the season ended right now, I mean, the Eagles would almost have 3 top 10 picks, which is absolutely absurd. That's crazy talk. Obviously, that's not going to happen because I think Indianapolis is a very good team. I think this is the week that they show it. Look, Miami has a backup quarterback. I understand that Jacoby Brissett in many ways is kind of like a Teddy Bridgewater. He's a safe quarterback. He's not going to really turn the ball over that much. Goes for the check down a lot, takes the easy way out. But I think Indianapolis is a very, very good 0-3 team. They've played a lot of tough opponents so far. They've had a lot of good tests. And I think this is the week that Carson Wentz probably performs really, really well. He's played well against Miami in the past, but his defense has never showed up when he was playing with the Philadelphia Eagles against Miami. I think that's different here. I think this Colts defense is probably better than any defense Carson Wentz ever had, except for 2017 with the Eagles. The Colts defense is good. They played a lot of really, really good opponents, and this Miami offense isn't necessarily great. They played really well against the Raiders last week, but the Raiders defense isn't great either. So I think things get competitive, but I think towards the end, the Colts pull away in Miami, and I think they probably win this game by 3, 4, 5 points.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I think Quentin Nelson may be out with an ankle injury, so I don't think he's missed a game yet. They said either, so that would suck. But yeah, you said the Colts. They've played a very tough schedule. They played two NFC West teams. It was the Seahawks and it was the
The
Rams, and then they
Rams.
played the Titans last week. And like that Titans game, when I went back and watched it, they should have probably won that game. Like there was so many missed opportunities by the Colts. There was a play where your boy Wentz missed a wide open Michael Pittman on a slant in the end zone. So like if they hit
Eh,
that, the game's a whole lot closer and whatnot. So I don't know.
I
They
don't miss
settled
that
for a lot of
frustration.
they settled for a lot of field goals too, which I don't like. But I think for some reason I think that the Colts are kind of due here, if that makes sense. I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of people are going to be on the Dolphins, and I think people are kind of off the Colts based on the record. And people saw that Miami played very close in overtime against a hot Raiders team, and they're probably like, well, yeah, the Dolphins are a better team. But I don't know. I mean, coming into the year, I was kind of like on the same level with these teams, and neither of them have really proven to me that they're anything great. But I think the fact that just the Colts have their backs against the wall at 0-3, and I know the Dolphins are 1-2, but the Colts got to get their first win here. I think this is the spot they do it, and it would definitely hurt if Nelson's out. But either way, I think you can beat this Miami defense like up the seams. They have enough tight ends there in Indy to do that. They could run the ball with Taylor. So I feel pretty good about the Colts. Maybe I'll be stupid looking back on it, but I feel good about it right now. Speaking of the Colts, the team they just played, the Tennessee Titans are at the New York Jets. The Titans are a -7. We're both going Tennessee here. Now, I'll go first with this one because I'm going to be fast, simple.
Got it.
The Jets are terrible, probably the worst team in football. Now, I
Yep.
will say A.J. Brown's
Giants have the
probably
same record
out.
as them since 2017,
Shut
right?
up, Andrew.
Worst team in football, right?
They look bad. Like at least the Giants kind of score sometimes. Like the Jets just look like the worst team. In
It's just
probably a lot.
weird. And no, you're right. But it's just weird they have the same record
Yeah,
because
I
it
get
just
it.
does not seem
It's
that way.
it's not what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But anyway, AJ Brown's probably out with the hamstring. Julio Jones is very questionable. It sounds like I think he tweaked his hamstring. But Derrick Henry's still healthy. And as long as Derrick Henry's still healthy, I don't know how the Jets are stopping that man. I think if he wants to get 200 yards rushing this week, I think he'll get it. I think Derrick Henry will destroy them that badly. And I know the Titans defense is not great, but the Jets offense has been awful, and they have no idea what they're doing, it looks like, which is surprising because Zach Wilson looked very comfortable in the preseason, but he looks kind of just – I don't know, all out of sorts right now because the offensive line stinks for the Jets. But yeah, I'm going Tennessee. I think they win this one by 10 plus.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tennessee as well. And I know we have a certain viewer on here that really, really likes the Jets, but they
Oh,
suck. I mean, they just suck. They are really bad. They are like horrendously bad. And I'm not surprised. I'm kind of surprised that this is not a double-digit spread, if I'm being honest. I think the only thing that keeps it from a double-digit spread is the fact that the Jets are home, if that really plays a
and the
factor
injuries to
anymore.
the wide receivers too.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? The number one thing that I'm really mad about is – they're just making excuses for themselves. Like they really are. Like Robert Sala's press conferences. I watch the Michael Kay show a lot, and they cover the Jets. They talk to Robert Sala every Monday. He's inviting everybody to watch the All 22, which if you don't know what the All 22 is, that's coach's film. He's like, yeah, we're having good plays. We're doing this. We're doing that right. Come watch the All 22. Just shut up. Like no one wants to watch the All 22. Put it out on the field. Execute. And then we won't have to watch the All 22. They're bad. Like they are a bad team. They're trying to make excuses for themselves. And I really feel bad for Zach Wilson, but I don't think anybody cares because they suck. I know that Greeny, who I also listened to on the radio, he went over it perfectly. Zach Wilson is the Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears, except for the fact that he's on the Jets and no one cares about the Jets. I mean, that's what it is. He's getting as little help as Justin Fields is getting right now. He's a really good quarterback, and I understand he's thrown 3 picks, 2 picks. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. He's a good quarterback. Watch the film. Don't be a Twitter noob and just go on there and a naked eye. Watch the film. Watch the All 22. He's a pretty good quarterback. But at the end of the day, they're just making too many excuses for themselves. They are a really, really, really bad team. I don't understand how anybody has optimism. Tennessee's going to go in there, and they are going to absolutely crush the New York Jets. This
Yep,
one could
probably.
have been 16 and a half.
Oh, nah.
No,
Well,
no, no. I know.
maybe.
No, couldn't have been.
I may have picked the Jets if that was the case. Um, do you watch I know you listen to ESPN. Do you listen to that Rothenberg guy in the morning or no? Do
Yeah,
you know
I
who that
do on my
is?
way to school. Yep.
He's like a spitting image of me when it comes to the Giants. It's kind of funny. So I listen to them sometimes. Anyway,
He had a story that someone his son walked up to him and asked him if he could root for the Chargers. He asked him if he you know like he walked up to him. He's like, "Do I have to root for the Giants?" Which is it's funny
uh,
in itself. He wanted to root
yeah.
for the Chargers, and then Greeny talked about it on his show, and it was just so funny how, like, of course, if my son walked up to me and asked me if he wanted to root for another team, I'd say yeah. But he's asked to understand that all the teams usually go through what the Giants are going through this season at some point. It might not last that long,
Not to this level.
but
Nope.
there is a rebuild in your team's future at some point. You're going to have to go through it at some point. So why change? That was kind of my
Yeah.
my theory with it, but it was really funny to listen to.
Yeah, it's also not fun having John Mara as your owner. But anyway, the Detroit Lions are at the Chicago Bears. Chicago is still a -3, and we're both going to take the Bears here. Are we stupid or not for this one?
I feel like we're stupid. Like I'm just looking at this game
Maybe.
now, and I'm like, you said it like you set it up like yeah, like they're actually a -3. Like it was so obvious that we're picking the Lions, and then we went and we picked the Bears. This Lions team doesn't look bad. Their offense actually looks pretty good, considering the talent that they have. I remember everybody was so concerned, like Kenny Galladay's gone, Marvin Jones is gone, everybody's gone, but they still kind of look competent. And if it wasn't for a NFL record 66-yard field goal by the best kicker of all time, Justin Tucker, they would have won the game against the Baltimore Ravens at home. But Chicago has a lot on the line as well. They have a rookie quarterback that they need to protect now. They need to protect him quick, and they need to, give him some time to make some plays and show him what he's worth. And this defense is pretty good for the Chicago Bears. They're better than pretty good. They're actually really good. And I think Detroit finally faces a task that I don't think they're going to be able to handle. I think we kind of see the Detroit team that we expected to see all year long so far in this game. Soldier Field is a tough place to play. It's going to be cold. Jared Goff is going to get hit a lot, and I don't know if they're going to be able to keep up. I think a field goal is actually a very reasonable line for this. I could see Chicago winning by a field goal, but I'll be willing to bet that they win by maybe one more point.
Fair. I was actually really surprised by how well the Lions defense contained Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
last week. But at the same time, I can't get the image out of my mind of like the Bears pass rush being really good. They even like had Baker Mayfield flustered at some points. The week prior, they had Joe Burrow throwing like 3 interceptions in a row. This
Yep.
Bears defense is still legit, and I don't trust Jared Goff to really be that guy to beat them. I don't think he's gonna come out here and have a great game against the Bears on the road. This is a tough place to play once again. The bougie dome Lions go on the road here to Chicago, outdoors here in the cold. So yeah, I think I don't know who the quarterback is. I really, I do prefer Andy Dalton, as crazy as that is, but like, Justin Fields, I guess, kind of has that issue holding on to the ball too long. And the Bears' offensive line is so bad, but Andy Dalton was doing a good job of getting the ball out of his hands quickly. So that's like the one reason
Yeah.
I kind of want Dalton more and the veteran experience. And the Bears' season's not over yet. What are they, 1-2, Andrew? Right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, they're not done yet. They can go 2-2. They have a very winnable matchup here in front of them. I don't think they lose this one at home. So it's a close spread, but I think Chicago wins it outright. So I'm going to take Chicago. Next, we have the Washington football team on not extended rest. They played Sunday. That was last Thursday. But Washington football team at the Atlanta Falcons. And Washington's a -1.5 on the road. And we're both going to go with Washington here. Are we stupid again for this one?
No, and guys, before we hopped on this, he was like, because this is what he usually does. He has me text him my picks, and then he does his picks while we're like waiting in the waiting room. So he was like, "Wow, you're picking Washington. What? You don't like Atlanta?" And I said, "Don't be stupid. All right, the Giants stink. Just because the Falcons played well against the Giants doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't hold much value." Washington's the better football team here. I really think they are. I think their defense shines in this game, despite the Falcons' offense still having a lot of talent on it. I think this might be actually a game where Kyle Pitts kind of spikes a little bit. I see people giving up on Kyle Pitts. It's really Twitter is such a world, isn't it? It's like a whole new world of just stupidity, and it makes me feel good about myself sometimes. I can't lie.
I'm trying to buy Kyle Pitts in fantasy, but no one wants to give him to me. So I guess not
Really,
everyone's
I
giving
would
up.
expect
Yeah,
people would sell low on him right now, but
I got
whatever.
to play in worse leagues. Yeah.
Yeah, Washington's the better football team. I think their offense can score points against this defense, unlike the Giants last week. Their offense has that capability. 1.5, I think they win by a field goal plus. Atlanta really is not a good football team. I think Antonio Gibson's going to be able to run all over them. I think Antonio Gibson has a really, really good week. I know he had a good week last week, but it was really dependent on that reception, that 75-yard reception for a touchdown. That was the only thing he had. But this Atlanta defense stinks against the run, and I don't think Washington makes the same mistake that the Giants did to not maybe design some QB runs for Taylor Heineke. I think this is the game where Washington looks really good, maybe shows that they can compete with the Dallas Cowboys for a little bit. And, I feel pretty comfortable taking Washington at such a low spread.
I'm kind of out on Washington as like a whole, but I do, as you said, I think the Falcons are bad enough where I do believe Washington goes on the road and still wins this game. Like I'm kind of out on both of these teams, if I'm being honest. I had Washington. I think I had them winning the division probably at 9-8 or 8-9. I might have had the Cowboys. I forget, but it was close. But either way, they're not living up to the expectations, especially defensively. I mean, Washington has to have a get right game defensively, and this has to be it. Like, we know that the Atlanta Falcons offensive line is not very good. The Giants took no advantage, of course, but the Buccaneers did. Your Eagles did in week one. And
Yeah,
this
that
is a
did.
game where Washington's defensive line has to disrupt this entire game, and they can do it. I do believe that. So at the same time, I think that this is a good chance here for this Falcons team to just like, I don't know, like they're gonna put up some points in this game, of course. I do believe that, but I do think Washington's defense is good enough talent wise to at least keep them under hopefully 17 or so. And you're asking Taylor Heineke to go out there and put up like 20 or so. I think they can do that against a bad Atlanta defense. We saw what Antonio Gibson is capable of on that screen pass last week. They have some playmakers. I think they may get Curtis Samuel back as well, who once played the Falcons a bunch of times
Nice.
on the Panthers. So, yeah, I mean, I do like Washington here a little bit. It's not like I'm very confident either way. I could see this game going either way, but I don't trust the offensive line of Atlanta, and Matt Ryan has no mobility, and Washington's pass rush is still good. I mean, that's pretty much, it's
Yeah.
still there. It's just not at the level of last year. So this may be their bounce back moment here. So
Don't you think like Curtis Samuel is going to be really good? Like I don't know. There's just something about. By the way, the Yankees just scored their first run. There's
oh,
something
great.
about. There's something about like coaches signing former players on other
Hmm.
teams that just makes me feel good about the players. Like I know Dave Gettleman might not be a hot name to throw out there today, but
Yeah.
Dave Gettleman, like with James Bradbury, like obviously he picked them and he really liked them and he
Hmm.
brought like I don't know, there's just something good about having coaches go back to former players and they end up being
Yeah.
really, really good on the other teams. I don't know. It was kind of a pointless comment. I just
I
want to
could
put it
see.
out there.
I don't have the stats for you on that one, but I guess you have a point. I mean, they fit their
Yeah.
scheme and stuff, so I get it. Where are we at? Oh, so the Arizona Cardinals. This is a good game. Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams, two undefeated teams here,
Yes.
I
Game of
believe.
the week.
Yeah, the Rams are well, the Brady one. I don't know. I
Oh
feel
yeah, yeah.
like
That's the game of the week.
in terms of
That's a
like
game, man. That's a
talent on the
game.
field, this is the best game
How
in
much do you
terms of
think
talent.
NBC paid for that one? I mean, that's a game, bro. Like
More
to
than
get
I'll
that on
make in my
Sunday Night
life.
Football, like woofa. That's a game.
Anyway, the Rams are a -5 at home against the Cardinals. I'm taking the Rams, and you're taking the Cardinals here.
Yeah, give me the Cardinals. Why not? I really don't feel good about this one. I got to be honest, but I think this Cardinals team has the offense to keep up. I think the Rams defense is great. Don't get me wrong, but this Arizona offense is again very dynamic in the same sense that Dallas is. I think they have very similar offenses. They have really, really good players at basically all the skill positions. They do lack in the running game a little bit, but Chase Edmonds is talented, and James Conner showed that he's very talented as well. He's still got it. AJ Green has been awesome. Obviously, D Hop is awesome. He wasn't that awesome last week, but he's still a really, really good player. I think everybody knows that. Christian Kirk has been awesome. Rondell Moore has been awesome. I mean, the whole offense has been awesome. I don't think the defense is going to play that well, unfortunately. I think it's going to be a shootout, but that's nothing different from what Arizona has played in so far. They've really played in close games that come down to really, really good offense. Obviously, they lucked out on that Minnesota Vikings missed field goal. But you know what? I think they keep up with the Rams. I'm almost baffled that it's only -5. So that kind of makes me feel like I should go Arizona. It kind of makes me feel like I'm getting tricked a little bit. But by the way, if the Rams are winning at halftime, they're going to win this game. I feel like I'm surprised that's not like a thing on Twitter where you like hammer the money line at halftime if the Rams are winning. Like it should be a thing. But I think Arizona goes in there and they surprise some people. They show how good of a team they really are.
The stat you're alluding to, the stat that McVay's never lost a game up at halftime, right?
What is he 39-0?
Yeah, around there. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Another one that must be nice. But yeah, I just
he has more wins. Well, hold on, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Boy.
He has more wins when winning at halftime than the Giants since 2017.
Probably, yeah,
like double.
Yeah, we have what 18?
18.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh,
I'm really crushing everybody. This is my time to shine.
It is, and I think McVay took over in 2017 as well. Anyway, I just trust this Rams defense a lot more. It comes down to that. The Rams are just riding high right now, and they're coming off a big victory. Sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself, which is a concern of mine. But I think McVay just has – what happened?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a home run, but they scored another run.
Okay, that's good. I think McVay has just a great control of this locker room right now, and they all buy in so much to the point where I don't see anything getting away from them. Yes, I've liked what I've seen from the Cardinals, but like even they do some stupid stuff here and there, and they got a lot of just layups thrown at them by Trevor Lawrence last week. Like, you know, the Cardinals went for that 68-yard field goal and had a 109-yard return against them. Like, they do some stupid stuff here and there, the Cardinals. So, you know, I don't completely trust them yet. I think their offensive firepower is great. You'll have Ramsey against Hopkins and see if Kirk or A.J. Green can beat you. By the way, I think A.J. Green had 100 yards. That's the first 100-yard game he's probably had in like 3 years. So congrats.
That's really cool to see that.
It is cool. Yeah, I was happy for him.
It is cool.
But yeah, I mean, unless one of those other weapons steps up and beats them, I just don't know how, you know, they're going to outscore the Rams in this one, because the Rams defense is still a lot better. They are the home team, and Matthew Stafford at this point is an MVP candidate. So we'll see how he does. But, you know, I just don't see this secondary in Arizona, which has a lot of questions outside of like Budda Baker and maybe somebody else I'm forgetting. It's going to be hard to stop Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and even Deshaun Jackson and all those guys. So I'll believe it when I see it. I feel pretty good about the Rams in this one. May not be a favorite bet, but I do feel good about the Rams here. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They're at the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is a -3. I wanted to change my pick. I took Seattle. I guess I'm sticking with them, and you're going to take the Niners here.
You took Seattle?
Yeah, I did take Seattle.
I knew you were high on Seattle, but I thought you were more high on the 49ers than you were in Seattle.
No, I like
a little surprised by that.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's fair. Seattle hasn't played bad. I just think in these like close spread games, I really, really like the 49ers because I think they have a better coach. I think they have a better system. I just think in this scenario where it's like a 3-point spread, I like to go with the better coaches. Kyle Shanahan's fantastic. And I mean, I really can't wait for Trevor Lawrence, for Trey Lance to become the guy there, because that's going to be such an exciting offense. I'm sure for the first 3 games, he'll suck and everybody thinks he's overrated. But, you know, for the next whatever, he's going to be really, really good. But in general, I just think San Fran's a better team. They like to keep things close. We've seen that, but they essentially won that game in Green Bay. They played against Green Bay. They played really, really well. It's just Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers at the end. And does Russell Wilson have that trait in him? Maybe he has that trait to go down there, tie the game, maybe win the game late. But San Fran's been playing really, really good football. Their defense is really good. And I don't know if Seattle will be able to go up against a really, really good defense and then keep up with the really, really good offense that San Fran is presenting. And Seattle doesn't have good defense. So I kind of just think they have the better matchup offensively, San Fran. And with a guy like Kyle Shanahan having a better matchup offensively, I feel comfortable that San Fran will win this game, especially coming off a really, really heartbreaking loss against Green Bay last week.
Yeah. My concern and why I wanted to change here, I think that Tyler Lockett went down in that game. He came back, but did not look right. Then Chris Carson, I think, didn't finish the game. I don't know what their status is. I hope both of them play. I know you're shaking your head as a Chris
It's
Carson
annoying.
fantasy
It's
owner. Yeah, I
annoying.
know. And I do have Alex Collins as backup, so you can trade for him anytime you want. Let me know. Anyway, so I feel like I'm just taking the points here. It's really like my mindset. It's kind of like that Giants Washington game from a few weeks ago. I'm just going to take the team who's getting points, and I just feel like Russell Wilson and these and the Niners just always play like these close matchups. I feel like it always comes down to the wire. So if that's the case here, and you're giving me three, I'm going to take the three. I guess San Francisco has played pretty well. They should have won last week. They should be 3-0, but don't forget that Seattle is now 1-2. They had the tough overtime loss against the Titans at home. Then they played last week against the Vikings on the road. Kind of got their asses handed to them there, which was surprising. And now they play a game 1-2, backs against the wall. And I just feel like Seattle always finds a way every year. I always think that this is the year Seattle's going to fall off, and it's just not. Maybe this is the year. I don't know. But the one time I'm high on Seattle, this may be the time they fall off. We'll see. This is a big game for them. You can't go 1-3 in that tough NFC West. So I will take Seattle just because I'm taking the
This
points.
is a crusher. You're right. If they go one and
Yeah.
three in that division, it's the best division in football. That's a
Hmm.
problem. And that's not saying
Yeah.
they're bad. They would
Yeah,
easily win the
definitely.
NFC East, or not maybe easily win the NFC East with Dallas, but that's going to be tough, big
Yeah.
tough.
I'm just happy the Giants don't play in that division. Anyway, Pittsburgh Steelers, they're at the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's a -6.5 at home, and we're both taking the Packers. I'll go first again. I'm sorry. I sometimes go first in these games, but I'm
No, it's
quick
okay.
here. Ben Roethlisberger looks terrible. He's injured. He's old, and Deontay Johnson was out last week. Juju was out last week. TJ Watt was out last week. Alex Highsmith was out last week. I don't know what the injury status is for the Steelers right now, but their offense is dead. And this is all I could say about them. They had a 4th and 10, down 14 points in the fourth quarter. They threw a swing pass behind the line of scrimmage on 4th and 10. That's all you need to know about the Steelers offense. They are putrid. They're awful. And the Packers defense is not the best, but the Steelers offense is that bad. And I am going to take Aaron Rodgers in this matchup. I said the Packers get the 3-1 and they win by 7 or more.
Yeah, I'm not impressed by this Pittsburgh team. I think the rumors that Aaron Rodgers isn't really into winning this year and doesn't really want to win, is not trying hard. I think that was absolutely crushed last week after that reaction to finally getting the ball down into field goal territory. They're a really, really good team. They're going to be competitive again in the playoffs. And Pittsburgh, really, I just don't get that vibe from them. They're not a very good team. And Green Bay winning by a touchdown really would not surprise me here. So I'm just going to go with a safe pick. I'm going to go Green Bay.
Yeah, we're making it sound easy, but I don't know. I feel like maybe Pittsburgh will cover. I have no idea, but we'll
Maybe.
see. Next, this spread might surprise people. It kind of did for me. Baltimore Ravens at the Denver Broncos. Denver's a -1. I'm taking Denver, and I guess it surprised you. You're taking Baltimore. And I think Denver's one of the hardest places to play, especially in September. That kind of goes into my thinking here. But why are you taking the Ravens?
I'm taking the Ravens because I don't really buy into the Denver Broncos yet. I know I'm not usually one to say like, oh, they haven't played really good teams yet. They're not a really, really good football team. I think they are a good football team. I just don't think they're as good as Baltimore. And I don't think Baltimore playing bad last week against the Detroit Lions really tells me that much. I think it plays into it a little bit, but Baltimore is still a very good team. And I think this is the final, like the real test. This is the first real test that Denver is going to face this season against a really, really good offense and a really, really good defense. And I think when the two go up against each other, I think Baltimore winning is kind of the thing. Like if I just go around and I ask NFL fans, who's winning, Baltimore or Denver? I think a lot of people would say Baltimore. And the fact that Denver is favored here kind of makes me want to go Denver. But at the same time, I'm just going to go with my gut. I think Baltimore is the better football team. I think they've played really, really good football against some decent teams. Again, Detroit, not good. They shouldn't have done that last week. But until I see Denver, like this week, go out and beat a team like the Baltimore Ravens, I don't feel too high on them against a good team like this.
Yeah, so the Lion, not the Lion. Well, they were playing the Lions, but the Ravens last week should have put up 30 plus, as we know, because of all the Marquise Brown drops and the weird offense that the Ravens were running. Like they barely ran the ball. It was a very weird, like just strategy going into that game. I feel like they were kind of toying with the Lions, and then realized late, like, oh crap, we might lose this game. And then Justin Tucker bails them out. By the way, do you think Justin Tucker breaks the record here at high altitude in Denver a week later? What are the chances of that?
That's actually a really good question.
Hmm.
That actually might. I mean, do they just let them do it? Like if they're
Yeah,
winning by
they
10
should kneel the
points,
ball somewhere,
right? They
wherever
just
the
let them
yard
do
line
it.
is. Yeah,
Maybe that was a
it's
really good kick
possible.
last week. Of
Oh
course,
yeah,
I did the crossbar or the whatever. That was good. It was nice, fun.
awesome moment. I think even as a just an NFL fan, it was cool to see that. Unless you're a Lions
Yeah,
fan, I feel bad. But yeah, Denver has played just so fundamentally well so far this season. You don't see Teddy Bridgewater getting pressured too much. You just see him very relaxed. And so far, the Broncos have gotten their running game going for the most part. And I know that they're losing some receivers here. Judy and Hamler are now out. So, Hamler tore his ACL. It seemed like a bad injury. Hope he's good. But yeah, they are losing some guys. But Tim Patrick has, what did the Blue Jays score? Oh, here we go. In
yeah.
play
Well,
runs.
because George Springer was on a drop infield pop fly again.
Oh boy, that sucks.
Yeah, it was Gallo
Um,
should have caught it. It was in the outfield. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, but the Broncos have just looked really good offensively so far, and I think their defense is, probably right there with Baltimore. I think Baltimore has some injuries as well, and a lot of that comes down to the home field factor. The Broncos do have some of the best fans. It's a tough place to play. It's a lot of running here for Baltimore. They might get tired, so I'll go with Denver. I don't feel confident either way, but I just feel like it's a tough place to play, and they are 3-0. So the crowd will definitely be very much into it there. Sunday Night Football. Here we go. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New England Patriots. Tampa Bay is only a -7. We're both going to take Tampa Bay here.
Yeah, this is a really, really cool game. As just an NFL fan in general, like if you watch Tom Brady at all win Super Bowls with the Patriots, I mean, it's a really, really cool game to see. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, GOAT versus GOAT, if you will. But honestly, I just think it comes down to the better team here. And I don't really think Bill Belichick has a team that can really compete with a team like the Buccaneers. Maybe things get a little closer because, Bill Belichick has that urge to win, but Tom Brady has that same urge. And believe it or not, I think Tom Brady gets booed. I just think the way he left New England wasn't exactly what everybody expected or wasn't exactly as chill as everybody expected. I think he has every right to leave and go get more money. He won 6 championships. If I was a New England fan, I would not boo him by any means, but I think he does have that chip on his shoulder this week. He's going into Foxborough, a place he's so comfortable with and playing in. So comfortable playing in. And Tampa Bay is a really, really good football team. So I just think this 7 point spread, I actually think it's going to go up. I think it's going to start to get towards 8 and 9 towards the end of the week. But yeah, Tampa Bay is going to win this game. They have more firepower offensively and defensively. I don't think Bill Belichick and the Patriots can keep up. And, Tom Brady, I think, controls the game more than Bill Belichick does. And when Tom Brady's controlling the game, good things happen. So I'm going to take
Shots
Tampa Bay.
fired at Bill Belichick right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Belichick needed Brady more than Brady needed Belichick. I kind of think that was proved last year.
Yeah, well, we kind of are figuring that out. Yeah. Yeah, as you said, there's just so much more firepower for Tampa Bay. And, the Patriots spent all this money in the offseason. I get that part of it, but like they aren't at that same level that Tampa Bay is at. Like Tom Brady has been doing this how many more years than Mac Jones? I mean, probably as long as you've been alive or longer, I would say. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just like the experience there. And this is not even like a road game for Brady, in my opinion. He's played there, probably, I don't know, hundreds of times by now in his career. So, I think the crowd, it'll be kind of mixed. There will be some boos thrown in there, but I think for the most part, it will be very loud ovation for him. So I don't really see it being like a tough environment, quote unquote, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And their offense is rolling. I mean, Tom Brady has actually looked very good so far this year. I have him on a fantasy team. He's putting up like 30 points a week. And, the run game for the Buccaneers is not very good right now. But as long as you have those receivers, I think you're fine. And I guess that the Patriots do have some pass rushers on that team, but still, I mean, the Tampa Bay offensive line is one of the better ones in football. So I think they'll be fine there. I don't trust Mac Jones. I mean, he threw 3 picks last week. I mean, 2 were his fault, but he kind of showed that he can unravel and have a lot of rookie errors. We didn't see those the first 2 games, so that kind of scares me as well. And Tampa Bay, if they get up ahead, can force them to pass more. And don't forget, James White's out this game. That's a big part of this Patriots
Yeah, you're
offense.
right.
He's out for the year now, so we'll see who replaces him. I've been trying to figure out who it is for fantasy purposes. I don't know if it's J.J. Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, or Brandon Bolden. I have no idea, but those guys are not James White, and they definitely will miss him in my opinion. So I'll take Tampa Bay as well. The final game, the Las Vegas Raiders are at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are a -3.5. I'm taking the Chargers, and you're going to take the Raiders.
Yeah, I would take Raiders money line if I had the choice in this. To be honest, I think the Raiders win again. I think this Raiders team is pretty legit. I think they're playing in a really, really good division, and I think John Gruden understands that like they need their division games this year if they really want to make the playoffs. And this is a big game for them. I think this will officially prove how good of a team they really are. And one of my dad's friends is a really big Raiders fan, and he's been just pushing the Raiders all year long to me, trying to convince me that they were a really good team. And I didn't really see it, right? I wanted to see it on the field before I believed anything. And so far, I've seen a lot of what I liked. I think Derek Carr is really, really getting comfortable in that John Gruden offense, which is scary for other teams because he's starting to be more mobile in the pocket, starting to throw on the run a lot better. He's throwing for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. He just looks really, really good. And despite their offensive line troubles, he still looks good. So that obviously was a concern going into the season, how their offensive line would play. And they've played above average, but, Derek Carr has been able to move around the pocket so well that he's made it seem like they've played a lot better. And I think Las Vegas has shown more to me than Los Angeles has. And I know that's kind of shocking because LA went to Kansas City and beat them last week, and that's a big win. I understand. But I think this is where you put the pressure on a recently rookie quarterback, a kind of new quarterback in league in Justin Herbert. Put the pressure on him. They're finally looking good. High expectations after that big Chiefs win. I think, if anything, the Raiders will cover, but I do think they win. I think they have the edge, again, in coaching, and I think this is where an experienced coach goes up against a rookie coach and kind of embarrasses him here.
Really? Okay. I may have to
Yeah.
bet you real money on this game because I have the Chargers as one of my favorite bets this week. So
Wow. Oh,
we
yeah,
are,
yeah, fine, sure.
yeah, we're definitely different here. You want to put $10 on it? A nice friendly $10 bet.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah, you got it.
Take on it. Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, this if the Raiders win this game, I will buy into the Raiders. This is the one for me. But I can kind of poke holes in their schedule so far. So they played Baltimore week 1. And it took like everything to go right to win that game for them. And let's not forget, Baltimore lost Marcus Peters to an ACL like probably a week before that game.
Yep.
Their running back one never got a carry in the NFL before that game, Tyson Williams.
Yep.
Latavius Murray was brought in off the street like 3 days prior. Not much went right, and they lost Rashad Bateman too. They had a ton of injuries there for Baltimore. Week 2, they play Pittsburgh, who I think is a very overrated team. Offense sucks. We kind of went over that before. And then last week in a home game, they were up by 8, but they allowed Jacoby Brissett to go down all the way, get the 2-point conversion, go to overtime. They very much could have lost that game if Brian Flores had some balls and went for it on 4th and 3 in overtime. So I don't really buy into the Raiders right now, but I do buy into the Chargers. You guys, I love Justin Herbert, of course, and they're using Austin Eckler very well out of the backfield, and we're seeing Mike Williams like really turn into like a legit player here. Like this is a former first-round talent type of guy, and Keenan Allen still doing his thing. Like this offense is very tough to stop, and the Raiders defense has a lot of talent, homegrown talent and free agent talent, but like I don't think they can stop the Chargers, and their offensive line's been playing much better. So I trust the Chargers more. They are the home team here. And as for the Raiders offense, yes, they've been impressive, but I think the Chargers have enough playmakers on their defense to kind of make it a tough game here for Derek Carr. So I've never been a full all-in Derek Carr believer, but if he wins this game, I think I will be there. So it's a big game for Derek Carr to not only beat a tough opponent here, but kind of just win me over as a football fan. We'll see how he does there. But yeah, we'll bet $10, and I like my chances. So
Money line or spread?
I was just gonna say that I think money line. That's what I'm hoping for, at least in my case.
Then I think I should get more in return if I win.
All right, fine. We'll do spread. We'll do
Okay.
spread. That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, Chargers win by 3.5 or more. So anyway,
Sounds
yeah,
good
that's
to
gonna do
me.
it. That's gonna do it for the video. Anything to say, Andrew, before we sign off?
Well, okay, yeah. Why not? Why? Let's talk a little. We should make a podcast. By the way,
Oh
that
my
would be fun
God.
because I feel like we can ramble on so many different subjects.
True.
Um, the next time I will see you guys, the Yankees season will either continue or the Yankee
Oh
season
boy.
will be over. And I'm a big Yankee fan, huge Yankee fan. I run a little
Biggest
account,
Yankee fan I know.
just
Yeah.
a small Yankee account. I do it for fun. And I will either be very, very happy man on Wednesday next week when we record this, or I will be a very, very upset man. So, take it easy with me. I need the spreads to go my way this week, just in case the Yankees lose. I have something to cheer me up on Wednesday. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And we got another week of football. I think we need to appreciate because the football season goes by so quickly.
Oh yeah.
And then we're kind of just left with nothing. And then when it gets back, we're really excited. So just appreciate the football you got. This is really fun. Tom Brady, TB back in NE. This is going to be a fun game. I can't wait. And let's go Giants, right?
Yeah, I mean,
We're a Giants show here.
yes, we are. Not you. I mean, I see the Eagle sticker on the wall.
No,
um,
take that
uh,
down.
I'm having a bit of faith in the Giants for one more week, and if they lose this one, then I'm kind of just like, I'll
Really?
still watch, but like,
Your
yeah, I
Twitter
think
doesn't say
there's
you have faith.
no. I mean, it's just when I try to be logical, I'm like, why should I trust this Giants team? But I do realize this is Jameis Winston, and anything can happen. So I'm holding out like 5%, 10% hope that this can go my way.
By the
Put it from your
way,
hand.
for all you Yankee fans, I go to Rutgers football tailgates, and one of my dad's friends brought this trash Kang banger.
There you go.
It's nice, isn't it? It's
Like the
awesome.
old
I keep it on
Astros
my
colors.
wall.
That's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Trash Kang banger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll do a podcast in like the off season when there's nothing going on. That's fake, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's real fake. Yeah.
I'll ask people in the community page if they want us to do a podcast in the off season. If they say yeah, then we'll do it. I don't see why
And
not.
if I don't go to the wild card game on
Mhm.
Tuesday, if the Yankees make the wild card game, it's not official. I think they will. We should do a watch party live.
Yes, that's fine as well. Yeah, we could do that.
Yep.
Sure.
Nice.
You're the big Yankee guy, so sure.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it. Hopefully we get to live stream that Yankee game, and we will talk to you guys next time.